between 7:30 and 8 for practitioners.
All right, this is my
Yes.
Happy Sunday
Find yourself.
Halloween edition because next week we'll have Enrique here doing De los Tiros Matos. Excuse my Spanish.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
I'll try.
I understand. Because we've had this conversation before, and I know that you work all night long. So, when I put you on, we just got a new practitioner who's another global heart practitioner. She's in Oregon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's a blood rudder. Now I'm talking about another. Like someone in the letter. Like a well-washed weapon. Weighing on the situations. They've been weighing on your shoulders. Take a little isolation. Feel it get a little colder. I wanna feel the vibration of my people and the music. I wanna feel the vibration. Oh, you know I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, but you gotta go down, down, and dig deep down. Can you dig deep down every Sunday? Down, down, and dig deep down. Can you dig deep down? Do you know how we got here? It's gonna change, tell me what year. Just trying to find my spot here. Let her fall if you got fear. Because you gotta let your soul shine. Yeah, you gotta have a good time. You gotta let your body unwind before you're back to the grind, grind. I wanna feel the vibration of my people and my music. I wanna feel the vibration. Oh, you know I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, but you gotta go down, down and dig deep down. Can you dig deep down? Down, down and dig deep down. Can you dig deep? I'm singing down, down, dig deep down. Can you dig deep down? Down, down, dig deep down. Can you dig deep down? Whoa. Get a clap going. Hey, that's it. That sounds great. Cause you gotta let your soul shine. Yeah, you gotta have a good time. You gotta let your body unwind before you're back to the grind, grind, grind. Yeah, you gotta let your soul shine. Yeah, you gotta have a good time. You gotta let your body unwind before you're back to the grind, grind. I wanna feel the vibration of my people and the music. Wanna feel the vibration. Oh, you know I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, but you gotta go down, down and dig deep down. Can you dig deep down? Down, down and dig deep down. Can you dig deep down? I'm singing down, down and dig deep down. Can you dig deep down? Down, down and dig deep down. Can you dig deep down? Who made the coffee this morning? Oh, slow motion here. Happy Sunday, everybody. Awesome clapping, by the way.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good to see you. That was nice. Feels good. Nice to have you all here this morning. And this is we are winding down October, I guess. Yeah, next week is it. No, it isn't. This is our last Sunday in October. Yes, because next Sunday is November 1st, and it is our annual Day of the Dead celebration. Like I said, it's November 2nd, because Saturday is the 1st. And so it's our annual Day of the Dead celebration, so that's always a big thing. And apparently we're having a big feast out there today. I saw all kinds of interesting stuff going in the kitchen, so please stay around, hang out, and have a little something to eat. And we got Day of the Dead next week, so it's kind of a very cool thing. So if you have photos or mementos or any kind of thing for remembrance, we set up an altar here so we can just kind of remember them and bring them in. We are going to have a special music, so it's going to be really a lovely, lovely day. So that's happening. Also, New Thought in the World with Conversation with Reverend Guy, 26th, I guess that's today, after service. Wow. Yeah, I can hardly wait to hear what I'm going to say. So anyway, that's happening today as well. We've also got book study on November 2nd. We may be negotiable on that because it's Day of the Dead. We'll just kind of see what we do on that day and see if there's some interest in wherever that's going to go. But then also the following Friday, which is November 7th, at 7 o'clock at Seaside Spiritual Center. I'm going to be on a panel with Reverend Christian Sorensen, Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn, my good buddy Kevin Busey, Reverend Kevin Busey, and myself. We're doing, I can't read what it is there, but how can you do what?
Navigating a changing world.
How do you navigate a changing world?
With new thought wisdom.
With new thought wisdom and new glasses. Wow, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be really a lot of fun, and so I'd love to have you guys come out and see us there. That's going to be going on. Sunday, November 23rd, you're all invited to attend our Thanksgiving dinner. This is Meredy is in charge of this thing, and she's been running it. She's got turkeys a go-go. We've got sides happening and gifts and prizes and all kinds of fun things. It's going to be a very, very fun, and everyone is invited. It's just more fun if you're there. So that's happening on the 23rd after service. Let's see what else is going on. Youth and Family Ministry is happening, but Laura, who's generally doing it, is sitting on the platform with me today. Oh, Susie's there today. Fabulous. Okay, so that's going on. Wellbeing in the Dow with Jim Jones on Sundays from 9 to 10. Jim has a new book out, by the way. But his wife just had hip surgery, so he had to run out and be with her. Michelle's doing very well. So that's going on. Open Mind gift shop's got all kinds of fun things in it to see and do, and the holidays are coming up. By the way, we get this coffee. It's called Purity Coffee. It is just amazing coffee. So if you're a coffee achiever, it's a good stuff, and it supports the center and gives you a good high. So that's happening. Let's see, Ministry of Prayer. So yes, if your heart has been touched in any way, please do not leave without the benefit of prayer. There's a lot of things you can do. You can see one of the practitioners. Paul, Liz, Andrea, Laura are here. Any other practitioners in the room? Nope. Anyway, you can talk to one of them after service. They would be happy to pray with you. You can also, Reverend Laura will be doing a prayer circle about 10 minutes after service in the Emerson room, and that's a nice way to do that. Or you can call any one of us to make an appointment, or email us to make an appointment with you if you'd like spiritual counseling. Also, there's prayer requests in the back of the center, in the narthex there. The practitioners get together every Friday morning, and we pray for your requests. So that's going on as well. That's happening. Let's see, is that everything? Except I want to welcome everybody in the virtual world. Hello, we have a new practitioner. Her name is Jamaica, and she is in Oregon, and she's joining us online. Hello, Jamaica. Nice to have you there. And Sherry and Howard, and Brigitte in Colorado, and Denise in Missouri. And I know we got some other people here and there. So hello to the virtual world as well. Whew, it just felt like I was running downhill. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff.
I wanted to make a quick announcement because we're going to have a guest right after the meditation, and I didn't want to say too much after the meditation, but today we've got a congregation member, Raina, coming to sing for us.
Yes!
She told me the other day she's got her own poetry, so I always love it. Anyone's out there got poetry or something to share, come up and share. So Raina's going to do that for us today.
Fabulous. Okay, good. I'm excited about that too. Okay, so we got that going on. So our question of the day. So if you want to prepare it, if you look at the email that's sent on Sunday mornings for the Zoom link, we always put the question there. So here is our question of the day. Can you name a movie you have seen more than once? And why did you see that movie more than once? There was an interesting thing going on in the text with the practitioners because we asked earlier. So you're in the hot seat.
Yeah, well, this question really brought out the movie buff nerd in me, so I'll try to keep it brief. But as a child, there's like three parts to this. As a child, Back to the Future, just like him playing that rock and roll guitar at the end of the movie is like, I gotta do that, whatever that is. And so that stuck with me, watched it a million times. And then in my 20s, just to humble myself, I had to watch Saving Private Ryan every year. I had made a yearly thing because both my parents were involved in conflicts in South Asia, in wars, and I always thought it was like glorified in public media, and that movie just made me feel really like, okay, in the face of fear, you got to do what's human, and I really love that about that. And then when my son was growing up, the Lego movie, it's all about just how everybody's special and everybody has the power to change the world. So.
Right on. Okay. How about you, Laura?
What dreams may come. There's been a lot of movies that have affected everybody in the world, and it's amazing how what we do and say and feel affects everyone and the collective consciousness. And if that movie says anything, it's the collective consciousness of both here on earth and beyond.
All right. And Paul, what was the movie that you were suggesting?
Wings of Desire.
Wings of
It was about, it was in German, subtitled. Wim Wenders was a director. It was released in 1987. And it was about, the City of Angels. There was a movie called The City of Angels.
Oh, yeah.
It was a kind of remake of that. But essentially it's about angels wanting to be human. And so most of us want to be angels and we want to be perfect. But there were angels throughout the movie wanting to be human and take part in all the challenges and all the messiness of being human. They were over like a man who just jumped off a bridge. And, so they always talk about, what it would be like to experience love again. What would it be like to feel the toes in the socks just kind of rubbing together? What would it be like to have the ink on your fingers after reading the newspaper in the morning?
Cool.
Very, very interesting movie.
Interesting. Okay. Anybody else? Takers. All right. Hands are up.
I could have said it in the microphone, but it's okay.
You have a good outside voice. Because you're a good teacher.
Yes.
Hi, this is Liz. I watch movies that I like over and over again. I never get tired of seeing a movie more than once. So the first one that came when the question was posed was Godfather 1 and 2. And because to me it was cinematography, it was such a beautiful creation of so many elements, from casting to acting to the set design to the music, on and on and on. But I would say another one that touches my heart is Love Actually. I always cry at that, and I see it at Christmas time, and I see it all the time, and I love it.
I watch that movie every Christmas, and I cry my eyes out. Roxanne's over there.
Hi, there's several movies, but the one that comes to mind for me is one that I started watching when I was in my 20s, college, Harold and Maude. And I must have dragged people to it all the time, saw it at least 10 times. And as an adult, every once in a while, I'll put it on to see if it has the same impact on me. And it does, not quite the same, but in a different way. But it's really all about, Maude teaching this young man to live, to experience, to love. And she had these wonderful little quips that she would say, how the world so dearly loves a cage. And it was all Cat Stevens songs. It's just a beautiful movie if you haven't seen it.
I love that. Okay, we got some hands going on back there.
One that I've seen at least 3 or 4 times now is A Million Miles Away. It's a true story of Jose Rodriguez, who was the first Hispanic astronaut, and he'd grown up, his family were migrant workers. And a teacher inspired him, and he kept this vision going. He was educated, he kept doing whatever was required. He was turned down, 15, 16 times for NASA, and he just kept going. And it is inspiring. And when we talked about this at Toastmasters, one of the members said, I know him. So he's alive today, and it's a wonderful story.
Okay. I see lots of different movies. Obviously, everybody's seen at least one movie or a dozen movies a dozen times. But I'm a Star Trek guru. I've seen the movies over and over. Superman, Stargate, anything that has to do with supernatural stuff. It's like I live and breathe in it. I've seen the whole Harry Potter things, and it's anything that has to do with magic, with supernatural, being able to get rid of the evil in the world by being something special. And that's always gotten me. That's what it is.
Wonderful.
My top three are Cloud Atlas, Shawshank Redemption, and Stand By Me. And I'm curious, how many of you have seen Cloud Atlas? Because it's one of the least known. Yeah, and the book is very complex. But the Wachowski brothers, who made the Matrix series, they actually both transgendered into women as they made Cloud Atlas. And they said it was their best gift to humankind. And it's about 6 lifetimes, and it's about reincarnation and how those karmic soul contracts played out in all those lifetimes. And it's like the best love story ever told. Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, Hugh Grant, Hugo Weaving. So if you haven't checked it out, it's 3 hours long, but it's deep, very, very deep and profound.
I love Robin Williams' Being There. It's about just purity and innocence, and in a world that just can't imagine this in one person. And I also love Renaissance Man with Danny DeVito, and his just reimagining and changing lives, including his own in the process. And I just love that.
When my kids were small, I made them watch It's a Wonderful Life because I wanted them to understand that their lives mattered, whether they were, as they grew, that they made a difference in people's lives around them.
So rich. Oh.
I'm going to expose my age here and go black and white. So Animal Crackers, just for the joy of complete anarchy, and Grapes of Wrath, just for Henry Sponda's speech at the end to his mother.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Anyone else? There's people up here too. We got Betty, we got Daniel.
I'll work my way down.
Well, there's just 2 quick ones that I have. One is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, from the meanness of Nurse Ratched to the sensitivity of the Indian hauling Jack Nicholson away at the end. And the other one is Good, Bad, and Ugly, one of Clint's best, and the ending scene with the 3 of them and the music and the intensity, I really get into. So those are my 2.
Nice. Love it.
Cindy's over there.
Mine, I was about probably 13, and first I read the book, Gone with the Wind. And then I saw the movie, and I can still see Clark Gable carrying her up those stairs.
That movie was long, like what, 6 hours? Yeah.
Mine is Pollyanna. I was 7 when I read the book, fell in love with her, and then when I, whatever age, the movie came out, and I fell in love with it. And I was accused all along to be a Pollyanna. But it's okay.
It's all good.
We have Daniel up here. Hey, play.
The movie impacted me most of all in my lifetime when I was growing up. I was smoking a lot of pot at the time. So the movie Tommy that came out, I saw that. And after seeing that, it was like a religious experience. And with Elton John and all the stars in it, I just walked out there, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe you had this prompt today, because I just saw the movie that Guy Williams mentioned a few months ago, Life of Chuck. Holy shit, it was unbelievable. I was really, it's a sleeper, it's like a real independent movie. You probably never heard of it and kind of like disappeared into the ethers. But Guy, man, he mentioned it. Dynamite movie, very unexpectedly deep, light and beautiful and wonderful, and just, you know, without, just the drama, it's a spiritual drama. It was right up this alley here. It's highly, and I'm gonna see it again. I just saw it. I put that on the list.
Stephen King.
Stephen King wrote. It's based on a novel that Stephen King wrote, and it's apparent that he wrote it because it's such an incredible story. What he kind of put together, and you know, in this making these spiritual kind of questions and answers through this character. Oh, it was wonderful. Oh, but the other movie that I wanted to mention that I must have seen at least 200 times with my kids, watching it every night until we just couldn't watch it anymore, and that was West Side Story. So I just every time I watched it, no matter how many times I saw it, I was lit up and drawn into it and just got lost in it.
Nice.
Great prompt.
It's good.
We have
It's
some
so animated. This
good-
is about-
yes.
Yeah.
You guys have all great taste in movies, by the way.
By the way,
We should have like a movie list on our newsletter.
all right, Reverend Laura, let's do church. This is red. Michael, this is red.
I'll switch it out here.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm practitioner Reverend Laura Di Donato, and I'd like you to turn to the person next to you and say, "Good morning. Good morning." Okay, let's get 2 feet on the ground. 2 feet on the ground, sitting tall so that we're a clear and flowing channel for love. And we're going to take a nice deep breath. So in and out. Be here now. We are so grateful knowing that Spirit is the power and the source of our love, of the intelligence in the universe, from a tiny seed that has the intelligence to grow into the most beautiful flower. How does it know that? How does it know that? So as humans, we also are a beautiful seed, growing and expanding in our knowledge and intelligence and our awareness and consciousness of who we are and why we're here, and excitement of what is to come. Knowing that love is eternal. The eternal spirit, the eternal universe always has our back. And with that knowledge of eternal, we know that there's nothing that can stop us from moving forward. We now let go of anything that may be blocking us from moving forward. Fear, anxiety, doubt, worry. We now let go of that. It's not needed anymore. We let go. We let go. And now as an open door to the good, to the prosperity, to our personal growth. We know that as we love ourselves and take care of ourselves, we radiate that joy and love and beauty onto others all day, all week, and for the rest of our lives. We are that vibration of love, that vibration of health, that vibration of happiness. We are so grateful for these gifts. We are so grateful for our eternal awakening of the excitement of living. And as we learn through Reverend Dr. Guy and his wise words, and also the wisdom through music with Lee, and also with our friends here today in this community, sharing the joy of living. And we release these truths into the law of mind. Together we say, and so it is. Aho. My prayer is your prayer. All right. The quote today is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. You've heard this before, I bet. Let me start again. To laugh often and much, to win respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. And now I'd like us to share 3 deep breaths. God is, exhaling, I am. Here we go. God is, exhale, I am. God is, exhale, I am. God is, exhale, I am.
just a moment at a time. I close my eyes and listen to the Spirit's gentle flow. When the world demands perfection and the shadows start to grow, it tells me I'm enough, just as I am right now. No need to seek approval or to take a rigid vow. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy. A sacred fire burning in my soul. I am whole. I am whole. I am whole. It's not a destination, a prize that must be won. It's living in the moment, beneath the moon and sun, embracing every facet, the shadow and the bright, knowing that the wholeness is a pure and holy light. Now walk with confidence, through sunshine, through rain, embracing every lesson, transcending any pain. This most sacred essence will always be my guide, yeah. And I'll always be the light. Oh, 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 oh. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. A sacred fire burning in my soul. I am whole. I am whole. I am whole. I am love from up above. I am love. I am love from up above. I am love. I'm enough. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. A sacred fire burning in my soul. I am whole. I am whole. I am whole. Go ahead and sing with me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. Sing me holy, holy. I am whole. Holy, holy, holy. I am whole. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. 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 I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. I am whole. Holy, whole.
Fabulous.
That's right, everybody. One of our own right here. Let's give it up for our Reverend Guy Williams as well, of course.
More, please. Fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you. So, God, I just love the energy this morning. And I think so much of it has to do with the fact that we are storytelling creatures. It is like just woven into the very fabric of our DNA. There are many things I think that, I wouldn't say that it defines just people, because I remember reading, God, a million years ago, a book by Carl Sagan, and he talked about whales. And you know, whales sing these long, intimate, beautiful songs. And what he was saying is as they would process the bits of information and the sound bites and how these things worked out, he said it was as if they were chanting what the equivalent of the Homeric hymns in the depths of the ocean. So these stories that are told, and you know, and it's whether it be, you know, the cave paintings of Lascaux, you know, tens of thousands of years ago, that are telling these incredible stories, or dances, or poetry, or music, or film. All of these things are part of what it means to express ourselves, to tell stories. It's just simply woven into that. And at some point in our history, we're assuming sometime right around the Axle Age, we began to take these stories and weave them into spiritual or even religious language. And the reason we did that is so that we could live together without killing each other. So we wove in ideas of ethics and morality and virtue. And a lot of the legends then and a lot of the stories then begin to hold these kinds of things, whether it be the Homeric stories or the Bhagavad Gita or, you know, whatever tradition that they may come from, there are these incredible stories, you know, and part of the Western civilization is the stories that come from the Bible itself. But, and all of these, again, they convey an idea, they create an imagination. C.S. Lewis says it this way. He says, "Since it is so likely that children will meet cruel enemies, let them at least have heard of brave knights and heroic courage. Otherwise, you are making their destiny not brighter, but darker." In other words, we encourage the telling of stories. We encourage the stories of myths and legends, and whether they be the Arthurian myths or the Bhagavad Gita, as I said before, the Hebrew stories. You know, you guys know me well enough to know that, you know, I'm a nerd when it comes to Bible, and I'm a nerd when it comes to Tolkien, because they have so many interesting things that come in them. And I think that, you know, particularly for the Bible, I want to talk a little bit about that. For clarity as I approach it, I think there's misgivings about it, and there's trepidation when it comes to the Bible. And what I want to do is I want to dispel the myth that the Bible is inerrant. It's got all kinds of errors in it. It's just the very nature of it. It's not historical, it's not scientific, it's not history, it's legend, and it's myth. Is it inspired? Well, what does that even mean to be inspired? You know, the Webster Dictionary defines it as outstanding or brilliant in a way or to agree that's suggestive of something divine. But every movie that you talked about today, we could say is as inspired or as inspiring. It lifts us up, it creates something. And you know, what's important for us as humans, I think, is our capacity to imagine is in many ways limited by the vision of our perception. How we perceive things is how we imagine things. And if our perception is very small and very limited and very contained, then our imagination is going to be very small and limited and contained. And so it's important for us to nurture that part, to stretch, to challenge our perspective of things, to expand our imagination. And you know, look, you know, I'm not trying to sell the Bible to you, that you should read it or not read it. And it's entirely up to you, you know, and nothing bad is going to happen if you don't, or nothing fabulous is going to happen if you do. It depends on what your perception is. But I think if we have a challenge with something, we should at least own what the challenge is. William James says it this way. He says, "A great many people think they are thinking when they are merely rearranging their prejudices." We think we're thinking great thoughts, but really what we're doing is we're just justifying, you know, our own experience, our own perception is as limited as that can be. And I kind of want to talk about something. I've been immersing myself in the book of Genesis lately because it's just such an amazing collection of stories and legends and very, very imperfect characters, but there's just kind of this writing theme. And you know, one of the things that I sit with is from a biblical perspective, and I'm just using this as a container for a conversation, but from a biblical consideration, the first three questions that the divine asks of us are found in the book of Genesis. And they are, where are you? Where is your brother? and what have you done? And to just kind of weave this in, those questions are a response to how someone is trying to control the narrative. Where are you? Where's your brother? What have you done? An example, the question of where are you comes from the story of Adam and Eve and where they had eaten the unripe fruit and became aware of their separation from nature, where there was this startling thing and there was guilt and there was shame and they hid themselves from God. And as the story goes, and by the way, these stories are way older than the Bible. Many of these stories, most of these stories really, are borrowed from other cultures, whether they be the Syrians or the Egyptians or the Babylonians or whoever. These stories go way, way, way back. Again, because we're storytelling species. And these are just been part of the narrative historically. And one can imagine that these stories were told around campfires or perhaps the Bedouins on the plains or on the fields or whatever. And obvious as they encounter other cultures, other families, other stories, other tribes, the stories themselves evolve and shift and change. An example of this is the stories of the flood. Everybody has flood stories, and for the early Assyrians, the floods happened because human beings were making too much noise, and it annoyed the gods, so they created a flood. So there's different reasons why they were written, but they were woven in, and as we continue to evolve, these stories become relevant to us because they hold these simply kinds of questions. So the question, where are you, really begins to ask a really interesting question. Where do we hide from God? Where do we hide from the divine? Where does a sense of guilt or shame or control or whatever it is, where do we try to not be seen, or in a sense to feel ourselves reclusing from the whole experience of what life is in this presence that is luring us to flourishing, and where we try to rebel or push against it from our own need to sit and control it or manipulate the situation. And it comes to the next one too, because the question is, where is your brother? And we know the answer, right? Am I my brother's keeper? Pro tip, yes, you are. And that's the point of the story, is where is your brother? What has happened to him? Because something is missing. But I think we can think about that also collectively, where is your brother? And who is our brother? The great teacher Jesus says the brother, our sister, is the least of these. It's the undocumented worker who's trying to find work in a Home Depot parking lot. It's a person who's trying to feed their family. It's someone who's feeling ostracized from one thing or another. It's even a family member who is silenced by us or whatever the case from us because of a story that we're telling ourselves. But where is our bridge to connect? Where are we in relationship to the least of us? And then, what have you done? What have you done? In the story of Cain and Abel, when Cain murders his brother, and by the way, that is the first time that we hear even of a word of sin. There was no sin in the Garden of Eden. It was just simply whatever they did there. But the sin of fratricide happens, and God says, the bloods, plural, meaning all the ancestors, all that could have happened, all that would have been, everything that was related to the experience of Abel. It is in the earth and it is crying out, what have you done? Now what's interesting with that story, and I won't go too far into them today, but what's interesting into that story is Cain, who is the one who commits the fratricide. He's not punished. In fact, in a sense of very interesting a distributive justice, he is protected. He eventually becomes the founder of cities, but he is protected. There's a mark on him because he says, you send me away, man, I'm guilty of killing my brother, someone's gonna get me, and God says, no, 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 no. That's not how it works. And that speaks to something I think is even more profound than the stories themselves. It is something that is found in science. It is something that is found in society. It is one of the main principles of Kabbalah. And it is this, the principle of I know it here, I keep talking about it. The story of rupture and repair. Rupture and repair. I could probably talk to Joe about this, about the beginning of the universe as it was happening. There were ruptures and repair. Things happen, things explode, and then things reorganize. In societies, there are breakdowns, and then they come in. Any person, I can't speak from experience on this, but talking to a woman last week in beer camp, one of the things she talked about, she said, every mother knows this principle of rupture and repair. Every woman has felt this in her body. But here's the deal. Every one of us who has ever gotten sick, who has broken a bone, who has fallen down, who's had whatever, we know our body has this capacity of rupture and repair. It's just the natural cycle of how things are. We can see it as this sort of growing flow. And so the question then becomes, in us, what have we done? What is the rupture that has been created? And what is the repair that is wanting to happen, that is inviting us to participate with us and with it? How do we begin to move in this sort of direction of healing, of repairing? Because the bottom line is that we will often create something and then we want to be rescued from it as opposed to healed through it. In Kabbalah, it's called Hisya and Gebura. It is the breaking down and the restoration. It is the culmination and it is done. And in the Tarot, it's the wheel of fortune, right? It is movement. It is just the breath itself. The breath restores, the body releases. It's always in there. And so how we are participating in that, and then how we begin to do that consciously, because again, we can ask these questions. Where am I hiding? Where am I hiding? Where am I trying to not be seen? What is it that I'm not wanting known about me? We respond with the question of what does it mean to live an undefended life? Where is your brother? Where am I cutting off? Who do I see as less than? Who do I see as not being worthy of dignity, support, love, compassion? Where do we feel that one person or one group of people is excluded from that? And what have we done? What have we done? We begin each day by taking responsibility. There is an occult idea or something that comes in, I shouldn't be saying occult in church. Well, occult, I'm going to say it a lot, But that comes from this alchemical process. Damon Nichols writes it this way. He says, most people treat manifesting like magic, thinking if they visualize hard enough, they'll get money, love, or freedom. But that's just shoveling karma from one pile to the other. You might get the job, the lover, the bank account, but if the inner roots of fear, greed, or insecurity have not been burned away, you will recreate the same suffering in a new form. The pile looks different, but the weight is the same. In other words, from a New Thought perspective, it isn't just about manifesting parking places, princes, and palaces, and all those kinds of things. It's not just about thinking happy thoughts and holding a vision and creating. If we haven't done the inner work, yes, we may get those things, but they will be as big a burden as the burden we are feeling today unless we have healed it. What good is prosperity if we are living in fear and greed? What good is love if we are living by shame? What good is health if we're unwilling to change the things that make us unhealthy? And so there is a need for repair. You know, if something is making you sick, don't do it. If you are having an issue at work, you change. If you're having an issue with prosperity, why is that? Where's the leak? You know, what are the external situations? I mean, we see that individually, we see that collectively, we see that in the world that we're living today. We could just keep thinking there's some sort of magic thing that's going to fix things or deliver things, but it doesn't, because unless the consciousness changes, everything remains the same. As Jesus said, unless the Lord build the house, he who labors in vain. You will still be heaping the same old karma on yourself. You will still find yourself in the same old situations over and over again. You know, the outside things may look the same. I mean, they may look different, but the inner experience remains the same. And so we sit with these questions. Where are you? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I in this moment? Who is my brother or my sister in this moment? And can I take responsibility for what I have done and allow the repair that proceeds from the rupture that I may have created through my own ignorance, my own misinformation, from my own perception of a story that simply upon reflection wasn't really what happened. And so as we're moving into this time, as we're moving into this thing, let us just then celebrate that we are seen, we are known, we are loved by that presence that is always luring us into flourishing. That, you know, something that I'm sitting with more and more and more is there's no such thing as an individual. No such thing. I think it's the myth of the machine that lures us into this idea that we're somehow or another alive and alone, and that because there's no such thing as an individual, because everybody is part of everybody. There's nothing, even our very body, for goodness sakes, it's not even our body, it's a friggin' zoo. There are microbes and bacterium and all these things within it. Nothing is separate. Everything is interconnected. And whatever we have done, there is a wisdom and a presence wiser than us that can restore, rebuild, renew. In all things, there is goodness and possibility. Thank you.
Beautiful, hopeful. Love it. Inspired. All right. I usually do a little bit of this song while we're doing the offering, but I'll do the full song because it is the right vibe. Especially without Jim Jones playing the percussion, I can stand up and dance around a little bit. I may be one man in the microphone, but I didn't get here on my own. Mama taught me my first song, and brother let me sing along when they didn't have to. We hear it every day. This world has gone astray. They want to be the first to tell you it's getting worse, but what they don't tell you, there's people coming through, people like you and you and you. but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. When you feel like you can't cope and you're at the end of the rope, just leave your heart wide open. You start to feel that hope. Oh, come on through. Think about how far we've come, the impossible we've done. Compassion, innovation, through every generation. There's people coming through, coming through, coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do, but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. Sing, yeah, you, yeah, you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm singing to you. Yeah, you. Thank you. The people come on through. To the teachers and creators, to the givers and caretakers, enterprises and 9-to-5ers, we're all just Earth survivors. And I feel alive, yeah. To everyone who helped me along, who listened to my song, who made these strings I strum and who made this microphone. Well, I know who. Those people coming through, coming through, coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do, but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Thank you. I'm singing to you. Yeah, you. Thank you. The people coming through. People like you. People coming through. People like you. Oh yeah, just started.
Loved it. Very good.
Walter's got that down. Thank you, Lee. That was very fun and inspiring. Thank you. It's that time of conscious giving. I do want to share a really short little story about giving. Really short. The ushers are like, should we sit down? So, the grocery store, where I get to meet people I don't know and people I know. So I filled my cart and I picked a line that had 3 people in it. I thought, oh, this will go quick. So I get in the line and I noticed something odd. There was a man in front, the first person, was starting to return items. And the cashier was like, oh, okay, because she had to type out something on the cash register to undo it, right? And then he picked another thing to return. And at the third thing, it was ice cream. And I went, oh, okay, that draws the line for me. It's going to melt and nobody's going to use it because it's going to be no good. So I knew I had a couple dollars in my wallet, and he was short about $6. So I look at my wallet and I go, I only have 2. And I purposely said it kind of loud over the 2 people in front of me, the 2 people behind him. I kind of said, oh, I only have $2, but this might help, because I was worried about the ice cream. the cashier was like, I can't do this anymore. You just have to. And then she saw me hand him the $2 over the top of the other two people in front of me, hint, hint, because I didn't have the 6. Sure enough, they each took out $2, and we had the $6 he needed, and the ice cream was saved. But anyway, that's always fun to be in situations like that. So let's take our love on paper and hold it to our hearts, knowing that the universe is always giving and loving and receiving a full circle of abundance, of prosperity. And we are a part of that full circle as we take care of our community, our home, knowing that every little penny goes towards something beautiful. And we give thanks. And together we say, and so it is.
So thank you guys for being here today. Thank you for all that you do in our community. I want to thank, I think Susie was a greeter today, right? And Bob and Matt and Walter were greeters. Very good. Nice to have you guys there. I know that Kurt and Deanna and Ann have been in the kitchen. Mike's been helping back and forth in the kitchen. Apparently there's a feast coming out, and just give Ann a lot of love, man. She put out so many decorations. It looks like Bloomingdale's out there. So that was Lee. You were fabulous, wonderful, and Rhea was wonderful. Please come and please do more. We'd love having you here, and anybody and everybody that has served or shown up today, thank you. Paul, you're always good on the bowl. I think you read the bowl as good as anybody, and hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody. Andrea, who does so much here, and everybody else, the sound guys, Steve and Michael, and everybody. So there's a community here, and I just love what that experience is. So with that, let us just pray. Let us take this moment to allow our hearts just to be filled with gratitude for this opportunity to come together as friends and colleagues. May the joy that we've experienced today continue to ripple out. And my prayer today, as in every day, is may each and every one of us experience surprise, amazement, wonder, and awe. May it stretch our perception to increase our imagination, to hold a greater vision. And may that vision be inclusive and lead us to the experience of reverence, which naturally brings us to service for our community, for each other, and for the world. And so we give thanks. We bless it all. We let it be. And so it is.
All right, here's my Halloween song I get to do once a year. Next we've got Enrique, so I'll do this one now. I wrote this 2 years ago. It's about the shadow side, because I try to write about love. Obviously, that's the centering of what I'm trying to do here. But a part of love is acknowledging the shadow. Without acknowledging the shadow, we can bypass that, and that kind of creeps up. So this song's about acknowledging the shadow. It's called Quick Turn, about watching that little part of you inside of all of us that wants to be selfish or wants to do that thing that if you step back and think about it, maybe that's not the right thing. So Quick Turn. Oh, so you messed up, please join the queue. Why should it stop now, if not with you? Yeah, it's the jungle, yeah, there's a void. All that will be destroyed. Fear is the enemy inside of us. Watch that quick turn to survivalist. Are you the martyr or the narc or the nihilist? Watch that quick turn to survivalist. Watch that quick turn to survivalist. We do some giving giving, we do some taking. Heaven and hell, well, they're just a making. They try to break your soul, we're taking charge until it hits you. Sabotage. Fear is the enemy inside of us. Watch that quick turn to survivalist. Are you the martyr or the narc or the nihilist? Watch that quick turn to survivalist. Or watch that quick turn to survivalist. What if I told you fear was malfunctioning? Take a little more and avoid that suffering. What about them? Don't give them nothing and you'll think you're something till they come running. What if I told you fear was malfunctioning? Take a little more and avoid that suffering. What about them? Don't give them nothing and you'll think you're something till they come running. Fear is the enemy inside of us. Watch that quick turn to survivalist. Are you the martyr or the narc or the nihilist? Watch that quick turn to survivalist. Watch that quick turn to survivalist. Happy Sunday, everybody. Watch that. Watch it.